Katherine, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today and really share your story. For those of you who are listening, Katherine is one of the graduates of my coaching program, Empower. And Katherine, would you just introduce yourself so everyone can meet you?
Hey y'all, I'm Katherine. I went through Heather's summer program and it was phenomenal. Not only did I lose weight, but I was able to, feel good about myself and still eat cookies, still enjoy a margarita here and there, and just really, feel good in my clothes.
Amazing. Okay, so we're going to dive into all of that and get the skinny. Did you guys see what I did there? Okay, on everything Katherine said. The dad jokes are free today, y'all. But we're going to start with a fun rapid fire section so we can get to know Katherine a little bit better. So Katherine, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, your go-to breakfast.
Smoothie with protein.
And can you just give us the ingredients so in case anybody wants to make it?
Yes. I use cashew milk, blueberries, spinach, and then a Be Well by Kelly vanilla protein. And then sometimes I'll add cashew butter. It kind of depends on how hungry I am.
So good. Okay, your favorite current workout?
Favorite current workout will be Barry's Boot Camp. I'm addicted. I try and go 2 or 3 times a week. And then walks. I love going on walks, thanks to Heather.
Yes, I feel like everybody who works with me becomes like a walking addict.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite way to unwind?
Favorite way to unwind will be walks again. It's so nice to come home and disconnect. I don't bring my phone. My husband and I try and walk, 3 or 4 miles a night and then just kind of talk about our days and unwind from the day.
I love hearing that. I've heard from a lot of couples actually who, not the couple who's done the program, but the woman in the relationship, but she started walking with her partner, and she would tell me at the end of the program, she'd be like, my relationships improved during this program just because I've been walking and talking with my husband.
No, we were talking about that too. We're like, the days we miss walks, we feel like we don't talk as much because, there's so much other things going on. We're on our phones or emailing or working at night. So no, it's been great for my relationship as well.
I love that. Okay. Favorite guilty pleasure?
Oh, I really like alcohol and cookies. So I'd say margaritas and cookies are my 2 kryptonites.
I love it. So if you could only drink one drink, it would be a margarita?
Or a ranch water. I don't like them super sweet. So
very cool.
You trying to cut the sugar. So
I love a mojito. I don't drink very much, hardly at all, but if I'm going to get a mojito, I love one with no simple syrup, but I'll put a stevia packet in it.
Yep, exactly.
So good. Okay. Well, we kind of established your favorite dessert already, but what kind of cookie?
So I like the sugar cookies with sprinkles.
With the little coating of frosting?
Yes. So.
Yes, I understand. I've had many a close moment with those types of cookies.
No, they're very dangerous.
Very. I used to buy them. This is when I lived in LA 15 years ago, but I would buy them and I would find them so addictive that I'd be like, okay, I'm putting them in the freezer and then I won't eat them. And I would go in the freezer and just eat it half frozen.
Probably better frozen too.
Seriously. Okay. Sweet or salty?
Oh, salty probably.
Okay. Favorite salty snack?
Chips and queso.
Classic Austin choice. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let's dive into a little bit about your journey and really share your story. So I'd love to just kind of start with what was the problem that you were experiencing for yourself before you discovered our program Empower, and why did you seek out getting some help?
So I have done fad diets forever. I could lose 5 pounds in 2 weeks and fit into a dress for the weekend, but keeping it off was hard. After COVID, I had gained a substantial amount of weight. Prior to COVID, I had done intermittent fasting and was able to lose weight rapidly and decently keep it off. It wasn't healthy, I'd say. And so in December, prior to reaching out, I think we started in July, I started intermittent fasting again, and I just kept gaining weight. And so I didn't know if it was my portions, what I was eating. None of my old diet tricks were working. And I actually had talked to a friend who had used Heather in the past. So I reached out to her on Instagram, and I just signed up for the Empower over the summer program just to, do it the healthy way, still be able to enjoy food and not starve 20 hours a day, 18 hours a day.
Yeah, intermittent fasting is so interesting. I was actually just reviewing some research about it. And there's actually some research that indicates like it can be beneficial for things like for people who have like metabolic syndrome or who are like super obese. It can improve some of like their like metabolic and cardiac like markers and things like that. But like when it comes to weight loss or fat loss, there's no real difference between that and like just regular caloric restriction. And so it's like, why beat yourself up and like only allow yourself to eat for a few hours if you don't have to do it that way.
Yes. So I basically could not find a rhythm to losing weight. Like nothing was working. And I think I was just under eating and not eating the right things.
Totally.
So.
And like, what did that feel like for you? Like what I know for me in my weight loss journey, like I was just like feeling really frustrated and like, you know, just like confused. And like, that was my experience. Like, what was your experience kind of going through this frustration before you started working with us?
I think my biggest thing was restriction. And I was like, I am so frustrated and almost annoyed. I'm like, I don't eat cheese. I don't eat carbs. I don't, I am eating vegetables, grilled chicken. I was skipping breakfast at the time. I truly was under eating, but I was gaining weight. Like I would never felt good in my clothes. I always felt kind of swollen. I just didn't feel good. So I think it was more so like how restrictive everything was to see no results. It's kind of like very painful with no outcome, like a negative outcome.
Totally. It's almost like making a payment to your credit card every month and the balance just keeps going up.
Exactly. You're like, I'm not getting anywhere and this isn't fun.
Totally. Okay. So what prompted you to finally commit to change when you did?
So I got engaged last December, and that's when I started intermittent fasting again and, messing with my diet, what I thought would help me lose weight. And so it was really just those final months. I was like, I need help. Like I need someone to coach me through this that can guide me. And I'm good at accountability, and I knew having a coach would help me stay accountable, or I'm only good at being accountable when I have someone to be accountable to. So I reached out to Heather, and here we are.
Yeah, I would say you were like amazing at accountability. Some clients still struggle with accountability even when they hire a coach, right? And like you slayed the accountability. You were like on top of it. So what was different about our program for you than like all the other things you've tried up to this point?
It was eating. Like I never would have a carb with dinner. I would never I would get tacos and just eat the insides. I was tracking my macros and seeing carbs, fats, proteins. Like I was never eating carbs. I thought they were so bad. And so I finally would eat and be satisfied and be full versus being hungry and just kind of feeding myself bare minimum. And then the daily crashes, I don't crash as much. I mean, I still get tired in the middle of the day, but I don't have that, blood sugar spike high and low.
Amazing. Yeah, it's so important that we fuel ourselves properly as women. And it's so interesting because I think a lot of women, when they come to work with me, they think like, okay, here we go. Here's the diet, or, I'm going to get restricted or something. And usually I'm like, you need to eat more food. Like
that was hard for me. I was like, Heather, I don't know how I'm going to get like 120 grams of protein. This is impossible. And I mean, we got there, but it was hard. Like, I was like, I'm full and I'm halfway through the day, or, I still have 800 more calories to go.
Totally. But like you lost weight, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. And it, the getting on the scale weekly was helpful with that. So it's like you get through that mind block of, okay, I feel like I'm eating more, but the scale is constantly going down, and then your clothes start feeling loose. So you're like, okay, it's working. Keep going with it.
It's so important that we make data-driven decisions with our health, and that we're not just like, well, I feel this way, so it must be the truth. Like, no, let's look at measurements. Let's look at photos. Let's look at how your clothes are fitting, right? Let's look at all of these different metrics and like look at them as a holistic picture. So can you share when you realized that our program was actually working to solve your weight loss problem?
So it was like 1 week I was eating more than I'd eaten in, a while since COVID, when I was only eating pizza. And it had been a week and I had lost 3 pounds. And I was like, I wouldn't say easy, but I was kind of like, man, I still got to enjoy a cookie here and there. I'm adding, quinoa and brown rice and tortillas into my diet. And it was really in the first week, I was like, all right, I can do this. I just have to track and watch my portions.
Totally. And what's interesting about this that I want to highlight for you who's listening at home is usually the reason people lose more weight at the beginning of a diet is because they're losing water weight because they're restricting carbs. And actually you were eating more carbs, it sounds like, than your typical routine.
Yeah. Yeah. Which we still like make, we have rice or quinoa or noodle, some kind of carb at dinner now. We used to avoid that. And, I eat carbs like normal. If I want cookies, I kind of track out my day around the cookies. I just make sure or if I have a happy hour, I'll have a drink there and then not do a carb at dinner and sub out your carbs. So it's all about strategizing throughout the day.
Nice. I love that. Yeah. Really learning like nothing's forbidden, but like, how do I make these things balance in the equation? Right. And I think sometimes people forget, like, you can have avocado and peanut butter and margaritas, all these things, but like maybe not all together on the same day.
Exactly. So if I'm like, okay, I have a dinner and I know I'm going to a steakhouse dinner, I'll put that in the morning and then, weigh my breakfast, lunch, and snack around that.
Love that. Amazing. And you have a partner, and I think this is a challenge that a lot of women who are in a relationship, engaged, married, struggle with sometimes, is their partner, who's usually like taller and, he's a man. So just by his gender, he can eat more food because he has a higher basal metabolic rate. How have you navigated that experience of like your partner typically can eat more food than you? How do you make that work for you in your social living and eating at home?
So I will blame him for the beginning of my weight gain because all we did was eat, and he can eat a whole pizza and not think about it. Like, we'll eat a pizza for a snack. I'm like, I cannot participate. So I really, in the beginning of our program, I was like, I really want to lose weight for the wedding. I need you to get on board. And so he just learned to respect it. He used to always ask me to like, have a bite of this, share this with me. And now I make my plate, he measures out my rice for me. And so I just kind of really, it was like, you have to help me. I'm going to gain weight. I need to lose. And then he's also swapped out for like healthier snacks. He actually added carbs back into his routine. He had cut carbs, and he'll eat healthy carbs. So he kind of got on board with the program with me almost.
I love hearing that. I love when like the partner kind of gets pulled along, and that's typically how things go. Cause let's be real, like the woman is basically like the head, right? Like how we want things to go is typically how things go. So I love hearing that. So tell us what life looks like for you now that your problem is solved for you and you understand nutrition and how to balance things and live your life ongoingly.
So we finished, I'd say like, what was it, September? So I kind of continued on till my wedding in mid-October. We were out of town for 2 weeks for the wedding. I did not track. I probably gained a couple pounds, but it's really reassuring to know that I have my original macros to go back to. And I just go back to tracking for a few days and just weighing portions back out. Because as I've told you before, like if you don't weigh them over time, they get bigger and bigger. 6 ounces suddenly grows to 10. So I'll always track for a little while and then I can ease off of it. And so it really is just kind of maintaining at this point, trying to get 10,000 steps in a day, still working out. But it's not as, I'd say, neurotic. Like I don't get mad at myself if I, go to sushi and have a couple glasses of wine and don't track. It just is more, I know I can get back on board tomorrow morning. One meal isn't going to change, how I look and feel. So.
Yeah, I love that. And like understanding you have the tools now, right? Like you're not confused. Like if you make a choice and you make those choices and they add up over a period of weeks, you're now not confused, right? You're like, oh, I know what I could change if I wanted to. And there's no like have to's with our bodies, right? Like there's not some way your body has to look or supposed to look, but if you want to make those changes, now you have the knowledge and the strategy. Whereas before it sounds like you were just kind of like confused. Like, I don't know what's happening.
It's something I can rely on. And so, some days I'm like, I don't want to track. I'm already so off. I'm like, put it in there so you can figure out your dinner. Like you don't don't lie to yourself by avoiding your food tracker. But I'm just not as crazy about it. I know I have pretty same breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner throughout the week. And then it's really just watching the weekends.
Great.
So.
Love that. Okay. So what would you say to someone who is hesitant about committing to change and to, whether it's doing our program or just like committing to like changing their nutrition or their activity? What would you say to somebody?
I would say it's 100% worth it. I would say it's difficult in the first 2 weeks, but once you form that habit and you understand, what healthy options look like and that you can eat whatever you want, you just have to, pick and choose, that you're going to feel better and not look better necessarily. You'll think you look better, but I mean, everyone's gorgeous. You'll feel better in your clothes. And so it's not as intimidating and as big of a change as people realize. It's just holding yourself accountable to making healthier decisions and subbing out for healthier foods.
You make it sound so easy and you crushed it. So super proud of you. Congratulations on your wedding. You looked beautiful that day. And
Thank you.
it was awesome coaching you. So thanks for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.